What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more fighting. So, I must say, I've enjoyed myself with the fights. First, I got to get my boxing fix watching Darrell DeGale on PBC earlier. Good fight. And then I just now watched UFC 187. And it was a stacked card, a lot of great fights. They had Cowboy. I'm not going to really talk about some of the undercard fights. But the Chris Weidman fight and Belfort, it ended in the first round. Chris Weidman did what he said he was going to do. At the weigh-in, he says he's going to beat down Vitor and he's going to make him pay for still cheating. If you guys do not know, Belfort was basically, he had high levels of testosterone. So he was doing testosterone replacement therapy, which elevates your testosterone. Not much different than what Lamont Peterson got busted for. High levels of testosterone. Again, an unfair advantage because your body produces testosterone naturally. So to have elevated levels, then there's obviously something fishy, especially since Belfort is 10 years older than Chris Weidman and he has higher levels. As you get older, your testosterone naturally decreases the amount that you produce naturally. So obviously it may enable you to do things at an older age that you wouldn't be able to do using your natural levels, if that makes sense. But anyway, he really rushed him and he had his way with him. Chris Weidman looks like he's the truth, and he got the first round TKO stoppage, and he was on the ground, and Belfort didn't do anything to really change the tone, and he ended up getting pummeled on the ground. In the main event, Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Daniel Cormier. Now, this was a really good fight. This is actually, I enjoyed it much better than John Jones versus Daniel Cormier. Now, they were both good fights, but this one was more just action-packed with some different levels of drama. In the first round, I would say Rumble came out guns blazing. Like he was aggressive, and the dude is strong. He hit Cormier with the right that sent him back. Now, what happened next was, Daniel Cormier had to slow down the pace because this was a strong, aggressive guy, and he got rocked. So I think he had to recompose himself, so they spent some time in the later rounds on the ground. And I think Daniel Cormier used that momentum and carried it in that advantage because he has the wrestling background, and he carried that into the second round. And this is where Rumble Johnson was in definite trouble. Now, I would say Rumble Johnson landed some good kicks. He had some high kicks, but then instead of using his hands and mixing it up, he became a little bit more predictable. And then Cormier was able to kind of counter and take him to the ground. And Rumble Johnson spent entirely too much time on the ground, giving the wrestler or the guy with the wrestling background the advantage in that particular fight. And it was getting ugly. So it was very dominant. It started off good, but the second round was very dominant by the round's end for Daniel Cormier. And it's because he was at an advantage and Rumble Johnson was at a disadvantage with his back on the canvas. And he was just getting hit with your elbow is kind of a sharp instrument. So just to have someone it doesn't look like much, but to keep brushing their elbows and hitting you and nudging you with your elbow, that's a real bony part of your arm. You know what I'm saying? And he was able to open up a cut. And also what it does is when you're fighting and trying to jockey for position with somebody on top of you, especially a 200 plus pound man, right? It zaps the energy out of you because you're fighting in I don't know if you guys ever wrestled with your friends and stuff like that, but when someone's equal in weight and they're strong too, it takes a lot of energy to push them off you, especially when they're in a better position with better leverage. So that's basically round two is what caused the stoppage or the submission in the third round, just because, he showed heart. Rumble Johnson showed a lot of heart by even continuing. It looked like his arm was about to get broken in that round also. Cormier attempted a couple times to lock his arm and get him to tap out, but he showed that grit and he wasn't going, but he did go in the third round, the following round. And again, I think a lot of it stems from spending a lot of time not forcing his way off the ground, giving the wrestler the benefit. And, he exasperated too much energy with Cormier on top of him, landing better shots, hitting him with nice body shots. By the third round, in between rounds, he looked exhausted. Rumble Johnson looked absolutely exhausted. And then as soon as they hit the ground again in the third round, he just looked like he didn't he couldn't keep the guy off of him. Like he just had no energy for that, like I said. But it was a good fight. I enjoyed it because both guys are strong as hell and both guys are tough. I would even entertain a rematch. And as you guys know that follow UFC, this was not even the initial fight. It was supposed to be John Jones, who he has some legal troubles, the drug testing, and then he's involved in a hit and run. So that fight was changed into this, and it gave Cormier the option. So he lucked out basically because John Jones beat Cormier, and then he tested positive, and then also has the hit and run. So by default, he was given this opportunity for a title, and he showed up. UFC 187. If you watched it, let me know what you guys think of the card. What do you think of the main event? Like I said, it was good. I enjoyed it. Good action. I think just a couple mistakes that Rumble Johnson did, and it was mostly he allowed the wrestler to impose his will and put him in awkward predicaments. Again, spending too much time. I think Rumble Johnson, like every time he connected with shots, I seen Cormier affected by them. So I think the dude's real strong, but he should have worked on a little bit better takedown defense or getting up off the canvas after you've already been taken down. But his stand-up game was causing a lot of problems for DC. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.